She touched his shoulder suddenly, and their eyes met in a questioning stare, the eyes of two people who have some secret to be guarded. "I heard someone in the gallery." "A coach stopped in the yard 2 minutes ago." "It is Barbara come home. The girl moves about like a ghost." They drew aside from each other. My lord, bland, buxom, imposing, in periwig, and black coat broidered with gold; my lady, plump, luscious, yet a little furtive about the eyes, her flowered gown in green and blue pleated into 100 folds over her camlet petticoat. She wore her dark hair low upon her neck, with a rose over the left ear, and a mass of exquisite lace upon her bosom. Lord Stephen Gore cleared his throat, and began speaking with discreet distinctness on some wholly impersonal topic. The pair were decorously distant when the door of the great parlour opened, the man standing at the window as though watching the people passing in the street beneath, the woman seated, almost primly, in a high-backed chair, a book in her lap, mild apathy upon her face. My lord at the window turned on his heel abruptly, as though he had just become aware of the presence of a third person in the room. He was a man of poise, of genial aplomb, one of those complacent gods who are never out of countenance or at a loss for a trick of the tongue. The girl's eyes seemed to sweep from one to the other with a momentary gleam of distrust. She still wore her mourning, a gown of plain black velvet with a circle of lace at the throat. The expression on her face was one of tired nonchalance. But for that evanescent gleam of the eye she might have passed as a bloodless and languid girl whose vitality lacked the stimulus of perfect health. My lord met her with a bow that expressed unnecessary condescension. He had reached an age where it is possible to be fatherly, and even officious in a frank, twinkling, stately fashion. "And how is my Proserpine? Still in the pensive droops? And yet Mr. Herrick preaches the gathering of roses." He put forward a chair for her with the tolerance of an amiable gentleman of the world. She took it without thanking him, her cold, colourless face masking an instinctive repulsion, an impatience that his urbanity seemed fated to inspire. The lord and the lady exchanged glances. It was as though the girl had brought a frost with her into the midst of June. Her silence and her almost sullen apathy embarrassed them. It was like being in the presence of a statue that had eyes and ears, but no tongue. Anne Purcell clapped her book to, and jerked it aside onto an oak table. "Where did you drive? In the park?" "Drive? Good lack, girl, are you torpid? I could swear you have not noticed the colour of a gown or the set of a hat. One might as well send out a mummy." She glanced unconcernedly at the buckles on my lord's shoes. "The park? Yes. A great business there to see and to be seen. Enough dust to stifle one, and too many people." The words were the perfunctory words of one who would rather have remained silent. Her face seemed vacant and expressionless. My lord drew in a deep breath through his nostrils, and regarded her with philosophic pity. Holy Gemini, dust and ashes, at 22! He nodded his head benignantly, yet with a cynical curving of the mouth, while the plump, well-complexioned mother studied her bantling with irritable contempt. There was some inherent antipathy between these two. Their attitude was one of vague distrust, as though the sun and the moon found themselves in miraculous juxtaposition at midday. "You had better go to bed, girl. You look tired enough." She met her mother's hard, inquisitive stare, and seemed to stiffen at it with a sensitive hatred of being watched. "No, I am not tired." "Fiddlesticks!" My lord held up a bland white hand ruffled in Mechlin, immaculate to the finger-tips. "Let her alone, Anne. These feather moods need a south wind." His lofty compunction repelled her more than her mother's brusque contempt. The atmosphere of the room seemed overburdened with a sensuous flavour. The very roses suggested a rank and vivid worldliness, a fulsomeness of the flesh gotten of meat and wine.